Good evening. Welcome to Township of Lacey Caucus meeting. I'll read a statement. We will pledge allegiance to the flag. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Lacey Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 1, special use permit, Ryan Service Center, June 3rd, 2017.
This is the 50th anniversary of Ryan Service Center being in business in Lacey Township. Yes, it went from the father to the son, but they're looking to have a 50th anniversary celebration, which is outside the scope of their zoning permit, on June 3rd with a rain date of June 17th at their location in Lenoka Harbor. I just need permission to grant that.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just so you know, at the May 27th meeting, we will be reading a proclamation for Mr. Ryan
Good.
on his 50 years of being in the community.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
I have nothing else to add on. Does anyone else have anything to add on to this?
No.
We'll just adjourn this then?
Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we go on to township meeting.
Move right into the township meeting. Read the statement. Township of Lacey, Township Meeting, April 27th, 2017. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws of 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Lacey Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. We'll have a salute to the flag and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 1, first reading of ordinance 2017-13, setting the salaries for the recreation staff.
An ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, affixing and determining salaries, wages, and compensations to the officers, employees, and members of the governing body of the township. This is setting the beach patrol, the recreation staff, the bus drivers, the assistant supervisors, the supervisors, and the seasonal summer laborers for the Department of Public Works by this ordinance.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 2, second reading of ordinance 2017-10, establishing a cap bank.
An ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank in accordance with NJSA 48:4-45.14. Second reading, open the floor.
Open the floor to public comment, being that this is the second reading.
Seeing none, motion to close the floor. Second.
Motion on the ordinance.
Motion on the ordinance.
Move it. Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 3, second reading of ordinance 2017-12, amending Chapter 335 of the Township Code entitled Zoning.
An ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 335 of the Township Code entitled Zoning so as to establish an inclusionary zoning ordinance. This is in agreement with our settlement with the state with regards to our fair share housing plan. We were to develop an inclusionary zoning ordinance which encompasses the areas of Route 9 and Lacey Road in accordance with our affordable housing settlements.
In the second reading, we'll open the floor to public comments.
Seeing none, motion to close the floor.
Second. Motion on the ordinance.
Move it. Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 4, resolution 2017-132, authorizing the reading of the budget by title.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the reading of the budget by title only. Mrs. Cavello, do you have anything to add?
No. At this point, it's the same as the introduced budget. There was no changes. So the overall still under 1 cent increase, which will have an average homeowner assessed at $275,600. See an increase of their taxes about $27 a year. That's what it will translate.
Okay, so can we have a motion on this
Motion.
resolution?
We have a motion now. We need a
Second?
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo? Open the floor to public comment.
May I have the, I'd like to open the floor to public comment at this time.
On the municipal budget.
Yes, please. Name and address, please.
Kevin Flynn, Davis Avenue. Yes, on your capital stuff, can you please tell me what vehicles you are purchasing or putting in for this year's capital?
Yes, just give me 2 seconds to get to that. We are getting a, 2 re-chassied ambulances for Lacey First Aid Squad. We're getting, don't quote me here if I give you the wrong numbers to the proposed, approved, or equal than Fords. A Ford, I think, E550, a Ford F, and 2 Ford F-250s. And we're also getting 2 Ford Explorers for the police department.
And can you please tell me where those F-250s are going?
One's going to Public Works and one's going to Code Enforcement.
I have this year's requests, and I don't see anything put in by the code enforcer for a F-250.
Well, there was vehicles put in by Community Development for inspections, and Recreation has requested a vehicle or a truck. So what they decided to do was to swap out the Code Enforcement's vehicle to give it to Recreation and give Code Enforcement the F-250, which is being paid for out of construction code fees.
And just one more thing, Kev. The reason we did that was because the truck that he's using now, it does not have a plow set up on it, so we're putting a plow on the new one so that it can be utilized by you,
Correct.
Public Works, if there's a snowfall or anything, because the truck sits out there anyway.
Well, there is a plow for the current truck.
Right.
It sits out back. It's been used one time since it was purchased by Kurt
Okay.
Mendel when he was employed here. So there is a plow for that truck. If the recreation department needs cars, there's 4 pool cars that sit back there.
He
pretty
needed a
much.
truck. He didn't need a car. He needed the truck, not a
So,
car, a truck.
The vehicles of public work, Casey puts in for the truck, you're taking his truck away from him and.
No,
giving
we were
it up.
taking vehicles away from Community Development that they'd asked for the Ford Explorers, and they said no to the Ford Explorers for Community Development and said they were getting under construction code, the truck for Code Enforcement, which is being paid for, again, out of construction code fees.
Okay. Just to let you know, once again, our trucks are falling apart in the back.
Any other comments?
Seeing none, motion to close the floor.
Second.
Motion, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We're on 6. Item number 6, Resolution 2017-133, adopting the 2017 municipal budget.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, adopting the local municipal budget of the Township of Lacey for the fiscal year 2017. This is the same as the introduction. The general appropriations are set at $29,440,250. The reserve for uncollected taxes is $1,105,056.70. Total general appropriations is $30,545,306.70, less the anticipated revenues of $16,931,306.70. The amount to be raised by taxes for the support of this municipal budget is $13,614,000. Motion to adopt the budget.
Move it. Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 7, Resolution 2017-134, authorizing a special item of revenue in the municipal budget.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue and appropriation in the 2017 municipal budget, Chapter 159 of the Township of Lacey, pursuant to NJSA 48:4-87. This is for a grant that we had just received in the early part of this year, known as the Distracted Driving Crackdown Grant, in the amount of $5,500, and we need to place it in the budget so that I can send it.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 8, Resolution 2017-135, authorizing the receipt of bid for the 2017 capital projects.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing receipt of bids for various infrastructure projects, park improvements, facility improvements, vehicles, and equipment in accordance with the approved 2017 capital budget for the Township of Lacey. There are a total of 17 items that we've approved in the capital budget that we will need to go out to bid for, or some of them may be on state contract. They are all listed here.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 9, Resolution 2017-136, authorizing the issuance of a duplicate tax sale certificate.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the issuance of a duplicate tax sale certificate pursuant to Chapter 99 of the Public Laws of 1997. This is a duplicate for Block 910, Lot 24. The person that had the duplicate misplaced it. They need to pay $100 in order to receive the duplicate.
Motion, please.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 10, Resolution 2017-137, appointing a Class 1 Special Officer.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, appointing Matthew Edwards as a Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officer. This is a part-time, $9.50 position, under 25 hours a week, that this young man will be helping us out in the police department.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 11, Resolution 2017-138, certifying the 2016 LoSAP benefits.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, certifying the list of volunteer emergency firefighters and emergency service squad members who have qualified for the length of service award program benefits for the year 2016. There's a total of $142,600 that are being divided up among all the members that qualified to receive the $1,150 in LoSAP money.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 12, Resolution 2017-139, authorizing the release of a performance bond for the HVAC control system at the municipal building.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the release of a maintenance guarantee for Peterson Service Company Incorporated for the HVAC control system upgrade for the Lacey Township Municipal Building.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 13, Resolution 2017-140, authorizing the release of a maintenance bond for Block 225, Lot 18.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing release of a maintenance guarantee for George McCrease for Block 225, lots 18 and 19. This is on the corner of Lakeside Drive and Route 9.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 14, Resolution 2017-141, authorizing the refund of deposits.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the refund of deposits held for the use of municipal facilities.
Motion.
Move it. Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item 15, Resolution 2017-142, authorizing the payment of township bills.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the payment of township bills in the amount of $2,743,913.89.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes on all of them except on D0400, the conflict.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes, with exception to D0400 and item 01021.
0121.
Yes. Item 16, motion to approve caucus minutes of April 13th, 2017.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait,
Gary?
Gary, you have to abstain. You weren't here.
Oh,
Move it.
that's right. I was enjoying my life that night.
Yes. Okay.
Item 17, motion to approve township meeting minutes of April 13th, 2017.
Move it.
Second.
Abstain, please.
Abstain again.
All in favor?
Aye. Item 18, motion to approve raffle license for the Forked River Volunteer Fire Company.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 19, motion to approve raffle license amendment for the Lacey Elks Charitable Association.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we hold off on the last one until we're done with public comments.
Okay. So we'll have comments from the committee. Deputy Mayor Giuliano.
Thank you, Mayor. This past Saturday, I had the honor we had opening day at the girls softball. It was their opening day for their season. As always, they thanked us for what our public works did down there. The fields look great. I know we have in the audience a retired Public Works employee, Mr. Barron. I appreciate everything you've done for us in the past, and we have some other ones. I thank you for the job you do in this town. It makes us look good, very good. All the coaches, I want to thank them and the parents for taking them there and putting up with all the kids and watching them. We've seen a lot of that going on down there that day. On a note that I'd like to bring up, my wife, who's been a volunteer for the food bank for about 10 years, Monday they had their yearly thank you lunch. Each year they honor someone from the community that goes that extra mile. This year it was Pet Value in the ShopRite Shopping Center. They donated food for the pets during the storm, everything that was going on, to all the local people in Lacey Township. On that note, we have a lot, we're lucky to have people like that in businesses. And when we have things like that, I really want, the public should come up and let one of us know so we can bring it up to everybody out there so they realize the good things that businesses do in this town. They come together when, there's a need for it. Other than that, Mayor, I don't have nothing else. Just everybody start enjoying the spring and summer. And then again, thank you very much, Public Works, for all the fields and the pasture. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Quinn.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of announcements I'm going to read from the Chief DeVella, regarding upcoming events that we're going to be having. First one is next Gilly Park Skate Park evening event will be held on Friday, May 5th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. There'll be a live DJ playing music starting at 6 p.m., along with other fun activities. As always, Lacey Police Department, along with local fire departments and first aid squads, will be in attendance. These events are coordinated by Lacey Township Police Department, Lacey Township Recreation, and Municipal Alliance. If anyone has any questions, contact the Recreation Department at 693-1100, extension 2203. For additional information, you can also log on to Lacey Police Department website, which is laceypd.org. So I might be reading all your stuff. The chief just sent me this stuff. But
You are, but that's okay.
okay, Recreation will be hosting a speedball event. Sorry, Tim. On May 12, 2017, from 6:30 to 9 p.m. at the Lacey Township Middle School. The doors will open at 6 p.m. and there'll be lots of fun throughout the evening. Refreshments will be served in the cafeteria. Each student that participates will have a chance at our door prizes and giveaways during the event. You can register as an individual or as a team. Remember, there's 8 players to a team. Please pre-register by dropping this form off at the middle school main office or at the rec office. Lacey Township Police Department members are going to be serving as coaches during this event. Lacey Township Police Department is hosting a free child seat safety check at the Lenoka Harbor Fire Company on May 17, 2017 from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Specially trained certified seat technicians from the Lacey Township Police Department and the Ocean County Sheriff's Department will be on site to conduct courtesy child seat inspections and to assist participants in the proper installation of child seats. If you're unable to make this event, you can schedule your own appointment for a child safety seat check by contacting the Lacey Township Police Department at 609-693-6636, or you can log on to the Police Department's website at laceypd.org. The Ocean County Chiefs of Police Law Enforcement Explorer Post number 1 is still looking for a few more adults. That's the group we had here 2 meetings back with the young boys and girls that are going to have future in law enforcement. It's ages 14 to 21, and to join those who are interested in a law enforcement career, this is perfect for you. For additional requirements and information, log on to Lacey Township Police Department website and click the box at the top that states About Us. Then scroll down to the Police Explorer Program bar where additional information will be provided. In addition, you can also reach out to Lacey Police Lieutenant Paul Sullivan Jr. at 693-6636, extension 2577. And lastly, the essays for the Lacey Township Junior Police Academy, which is the Lacey Township Middle School children going into 8th grade, are due by tomorrow, August 28, 2017. Essays may be submitted at the Lacey Township Police Department Dispatch Center, which is open 24 hours a day. The Junior Police Academy starts on July 10, 2017, and will continue through July 14, 2017. If anyone has any questions, you can contact Detective Lieutenant Christopher Cornelius at 693-6636, extension 2566, or log on to the laceypd.org. The chief has a lot of new events, upcoming events in the next couple months, so you're gonna start seeing a lot more of it now that the weather's starting to get better. But I stole a lot of Tim's thunder, but Timmy do a great job with recreation, just so I can tell you. The only other comment, well, two comments. Of course, the softball grand opening day on Saturday, or Sunday it was, right? Yes, Sunday. Was a great event. I want to send special thanks out to Christine Rapetti, who runs that league now. She's a former player from the league, and she's doing an outstanding job bringing more and more kids into the league itself. And the young ladies that she has working with her are really doing a great job, so she deserves a lot of credit. And of course, like Nikki said, Public Works, you did a great job. You know, the fields, you know, we get nothing but compliments on them, so don't ever think we take you for granted, although sometimes I know you might feel that way. It's, you know, you step up every time we need it, so thank you. And Jimmy Barron, we certainly miss you, because, you know, you did a great job during your days, with, you know, with your career here, but I've seen you smiling every time I see you ever since then, where I didn't always see you smiling when you were here, so it's good to see you happy. My last comment, I just want to thank, you know, the budgets are always hard. I mean, we have so many requests, we have so many things that we would like to fund, but we don't always have the ability to do everything every year. And this year was kind of a different year for us, because we're going into a time frame now where we're ticking down to the last couple of years before the power plant shuts down, and we have a big unknown there. And until we can guarantee that we have something else that's going to come in, we don't believe we're going to lose the revenue there in the immediate future, but at some point in time that could happen. So we have to start really watching ourselves with our spending for a couple of years. We are working on different things to try and bring something to fruition down there, but it is a leaner year than most times. And I'm very happy that we're done with it. I'm very happy that the increase is under 1 penny, so you're looking at $27. But I certainly want to thank Linda Cavella and her staff, for putting it together, because it's a lot of work putting together a budget of our size. And we get hammered with all the requests, but she gets hammered with everything that we throw at her. So her and the girls do a great job, and certainly we're very thankful for what you do. And also Veronica, because Veronica and Linda meet on a regular basis and crunch numbers and bring us in line with where we can go and what we can actually do. So we're happy it's over. I know Linda will probably take a couple weeks and start working on next year's budget right away.
Yeah,
I'm already there.
It's an ongoing process, but I hope next year is a little bit better for us. But we really tried to toe the line this year. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Committeeman Quinn. Committeeman Kennis.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Thursday, the Planning Board held a special meeting for the Clayton Sand Mine out in Bamber. We had a courtroom full of concerned residents. My feeling of the final recommendation is that we really did our best to address the quality of life concerns of those residents. I think on a whole that we put enough mechanisms in place that we'll be able to enforce the conditions that we put upon them, and it's never the intention of the Planning Board to make rules that are too restrictive. I want the residents of the entire township to be aware that as applicants come before the Planning Board, that we earnestly try to address individual concerns. Further, I'd like to commend past and present planning boards for the good work they've done on behalf of the residents over the years. And just a minor comment on the budget also. I saved the original request list. The original requests from the department heads were $9.3 million. We don't have the ability to spend anywhere near $9.3 million. Realistically, we were able to spend between $1 and $2 million each year on additional purchases, and that's throughout the entire township. That's emergency equipment, that's DPW equipment, that's paving roads, all the extra bells and whistles you see in the town. So it is very, very hard, as you can imagine, paring a list of $9.3 million in upgrades and purchases down to about, between $1 and $2 million. It's usually closer to $1 million. So I just want to thank Linda and Veronica and everybody, all the department heads that do all the work to sort of, understand where we are in our budget and get it down to where we need it to be. So those are my comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeeman Kennis. Committeeman McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank Mr. Committeeman Quinn for stealing my thunder. But a couple of things. Yeah, the rec department is doing a great job, and they're about ready to spring into action. This is going to be their busy time. There's way too many things to talk about going on in the rec department from up here, so I'll just tell you to go to the website. If your kids are bored this summer, get them into the rec program. There's something for everybody, and if it's not there, let us know, and we'll see what we can do to get it going. There's been some talk in town about a community gardens. It is just something the township committee has known about for, I guess, about a little over a year now. And we have talked about it. We're trying to move forward on it, but it's a little bit more complicated than just setting it up and going. So we are aware of it, and hopefully we can get it resolved within the next 6 months. Linda and Veronica, I just want to thank you. Great job on the budget as well as the township committee. I thought it was, it was tight this year, 9 million down to, I think we spent, what, 1.4, 1.5,
Yes.
something like that. So again, every one of us would like to give everything to everybody, but that's just not possible. Would not be possible. And the other thing I'd like to say, I saw this coming in today, with the lights, with the daylight saving time and everything. The kids are out on the bikes, and they're heading to our beautiful parks done by the Public Works, and I want to thank them for that. So we just need to be very, very vigilant about the kids on bikes, because they're out at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and it's getting a little. It does get a little less light, so just be careful with that, because if they're anything like me on a bike when I was little, they're dodging in and out of traffic. So just be careful with that. Mayor, that's all I have.
Mayor McDonald, thank you for the comments. Good evening again, everyone. I would like to start my comments this evening by saying thank you to the administration at our high school and our police department. I was able to go out there as the director of the Intoxicated Driver Resource Center for the county and talk to the kids, as I do each year, about DUI safety, prom safety, making good choices. I was out there with our police, our lieutenant, and also Dimitri Sarnas, who's of course over there and very active in everything that he does with the police. But for the cooperation of the school board, the principal, the superintendent, and the police department, programs like that don't happen. That's at no charge to our schools. I'm glad to go out there, and I'm hopeful that it saves a life. So I do think these messages resonate. It's a very visceral program. We give the kids an opportunity, what it's like to take a field sobriety test by a licensed officer. There was a brisk Q&A, and the kids really enjoyed it. And I know that the three of us enjoyed it as well. So thank you to everyone I just mentioned. I was at Toms River Police Department yesterday. The Attorney General was there. Governor Christie was there. If you saw the Asbury Park Press today, the governor was talking about prescription drug take-back. We have a box here in town. I also signed a document last year where we have a mobile box too. So if you're part of a civic group or you think you want to do a take-back, give us a call. We have a mobile box. We have senior communities. We know that some of the kids are procuring some of these pills in the medicine boxes of grandparents and different folks. If they're in the box and they get disposed of correctly, they're not in the hands of the kids. I think that's important. In that vein, part of a public service announcement with our chief. We filmed it the other day at the high school. It's going to be released soon. When it's released and completed, really about making right turns in life and making wise choices. When it's released, I'm going to request that it's posted to our website for everybody to see. I also want to reiterate what some of my colleagues to the left have said about girls softball. I have a daughter. I did bring her that day to throw out the first pitch. It rained like the dickens the day before. It was canceled. I went out there. Gilly Park was a mud bath. I will tell you, Public Works cleaned it up, because when we went out there, it was dry. It was dry. It was clean. It was cut. There wasn't any mud. I don't know how he did that. But the folks at Public Works did it, and it was a successful opening day. And so we're very grateful. My last comment tonight will be about the budget, and special thanks, to reiterate everything everybody said. There's a lot of people that work on that budget. Budgets are not easy things. Too many people to name: Linda, Veronica, my colleagues. I'm proud of the budget. We did as much as we possibly could for our township employees, both with negotiations and with purchases. Budgets are not easy things, and we're all taxpayers. We all have skin in this game. We talk about $27 per home. If you're assessed at $276.5, I think that's pretty strong. It's indicative of the efforts that a lot of people put forth. We know a lot of people in town. Everybody has deep roots in the town. We want to do what we can do for the town, and we try to act as responsibly as we can. With that, I thank you for your time, and I open the floor to public comments. Yes, sir, please.
Kevin Fury in Lacey County Department of Public Works, union rep for the department down there.
Okay.
30-year employee with the township. I have concerns about the equipment that we have. okay? Since I represent the men, their safety is first to me, as far as that goes. When I got hired here back in '87, I walked into the yard my first day, and I couldn't believe the equipment that the township had at the time. It should have either been at the Forked River Museum or in the junkyard. It was bad. My first truck was a 1964 rack body. But that year, the boss that was here, Wally Bailey, purchased a tandem and 4 single axles. One was gas, actually. The other 3 were diesels. This was in '87. A Ford backhoe, and a paving machine. To this day, we still use that equipment because we have no choice but to use it. Wally had left. He didn't last very long. And Casey came in '92, and he updated the fleet even more through the committee, of course. Now we're at the step where what Casey purchased, mostly everything in 1992, 2 tandems, we had a loader, and in '95 got another loader, a few mason dumps, and anyway, my point here is our equipment is deteriorating, and it's getting to the point where it's starting to be dangerous. This past week, one of our trucks going down the road, and the rear actually started separating from the frame because it's rotted. A few weeks ago, we had a mason dumping in the back, and the bed snapped and could have come off. It didn't. He got it down fast enough. But if people are going to be working around this equipment and something happens, it's not going to be good. And I'm asking the committee to come down and take a look at our equipment and go over it, because it's not good, it's not safe, and it's going to get to the point where I'm going to advise my guys that the stuff needs to be red tagged, it can't be used. Because I don't want to see anybody get hurt at work, an employee. I don't want to see a person on the road get hurt because we're driving something down the road that shouldn't be on the road. And I don't want to see anybody working around the equipment get hurt. So that's my main concern here, and I really wish that the committee would listen to Casey, because it's not that we don't abuse our equipment is overused. It's wore out. We use it every day. You guys know what we built here, the Gilly Park. When we build something, we start from scratch and we finish it. We don't bring in other companies to do our work. The paving, of course, we do now, and the big drainage, because we don't have the manpower. But for what we do and what we use to do it right now, it's a miracle. Now, you know, I mean, I know Casey comes here every year and he asks for equipment. It is equipment that we actually do need. I don't believe he's asking for it because just to ask for it, just to have something for a parade or anything. We don't need that. We need equipment, safe equipment for our men. And I'm sure you know that too, and I'm sure that's what you want. So I'm asking you, it ain't gonna happen this year, but next year, attention has to be brought to that department back there, because if it's not, somebody's gonna get hurt, and it's not gonna be good. Because the equipment we use is not small, it's large, heavy equipment. I mean, I got the new loader a few years ago. That was the most recent thing that I've gotten to use. I use that every day pretty much. But, you know, as far as Casey goes, he's a good man. He's a good man to work for. When he first came in, we butted heads because obviously I was a union guy and he was coming in as the boss, and he wanted to run it like his father's business, and it was just 2 different businesses. So, but over the 25 years I worked side by side with this man, he's an asset to this town that you can't believe. This man, with his engineering experience, the way he lays out jobs, the way he designs the parks, he's irreplaceable in my book. And I can see he's getting frustrated. The employees back there are getting frustrated because we have to work with this equipment. And I'm asking you to pay attention to it. I'm asking you to come back and look at the equipment so you can see it for yourself and see what kind of conditions it is. Looks great when you drive by it. When you actually look at it, not so good. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Theron, if I could, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
we completely, there's rarely a meeting that goes by where most of us don't have good things to say about our Public Works Department. That's not lip service. We mean that. I believe we've put our money where our mouth is. We know you have needs. We know that you cover every square inch of the town. And I don't think there's another department that could say that with specific focus on the physical plant needs, like the grass, the fertilizer, the snow. You all do that. We understand that. We have spent significant amounts of money in the last 3 years on the department, over $1 million. Last meeting, we did a lease to purchase for $110,000, going to end up being on a grader. We mean it, and ours are open books. We mean it when we say we care about our employees. We want you to have what you need. I know I'm the person speaking now, but as I often say, and because it's the truth, we're a committee of 5. We do the best that we can do with the pot that we have. That said, if something's dangerous and it's going to fail an inspection, let's red tag it. We'll have the conversation. But I want you to know that we do everything that we can, and we will continue, and we will visit all this again next budget cycle as well. But I want you to know that. I want the people watching TV to know that. I mean, we've done, I believe, and Linda can correct me if I'm wrong, we've spent more in Public Works than anywhere else. I mean, and you guys have the need. I understand that. So that may be a bit of an unfair comparison. But
keep in mind that equipment back there, 95% of it every day is out on the road. It's not sitting through a shift or anything like that. That stuff is out on the road every day from 7 o'clock to 3:30. And when it's plowing time, it's out on the road from the start of the storm till it ends, because we are there from the start to the end. No matter if it's a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, we're there. But it's the same equipment that's getting used year round. It's old now. We're talking 25, 30 years old for the majority of our equipment, especially our big equipment, the trucks, the tandems. I mean, it's spent.
I appreciate you coming out tonight. That's the truth. And you're welcome here at any time. It's a people's microphone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Evan Flanagan. What do any of you know about running any department in this municipality? What experience you have in running all the departments in this municipality?
Kevin, I think you
No,
let me answer your question. The job of an elected official, when an official comes in here, is to take and oversee the operation of the town, which I've said, not necessarily this group that's up here over the years, I've said many times to new governing body members, we're not here to run departments, we're not here to micromanage departments. We all have different departments that we're liaisons to, and we certainly know what goes on in those departments, and we deal hand in hand, like Nikki deals hand in hand with Casey. You know, Timmy, I'm in the police department, we all have different departments. But for us to go into a department, for Nikki to go back there and say, okay, Casey, you're gonna do it this way, and this way, that's not the intent of a governing body member. And if somebody comes in here and tries to go down that road, we try and pull them back and correct it. So your question is really not a proper question to ask.
okay, well, then let the department heads run their departments.
No doubt about it.
Great. So if someone puts in a request for a mechanic and the money's in the budget, there's a reason for that promotion to be made. Not to question his salary, his experience, because if he wasn't experienced and couldn't do the job, they wouldn't be asked to be promoted to that position. So
Kevin,
there is some micromanaging going on.
Kevin, if you're gonna get into personnel stuff, there's laws
No,
against it.
I'm not saying any names.
I'm not
just-
trying to put, you called me last week, I'll take the call anytime. But to talk about individual employees or titles, that's something we can't do by law. Here's the attorney will tell you that. And we're not
Then
trying
let
to
the
look
department
for an
heads
out.
run the departments. Don't question them. If there's a need for a mechanic back there, because you just heard it, our stuff's all falling apart. They're all busy and backed up. They need another mechanic. Don't question it. Just promote the guy. He can do the job. If he couldn't do the job, there wouldn't be he wouldn't have been brought up to promote him to that position. Can you do brakes on a Mac? No.
Right.
I watched him do a complete brake job on our Mac roller. He works on the loaders. He works on everything. He can weld. So if he wasn't capable of doing a job, he wouldn't be in there.
Kevin, let me tell you, put aside, position, whether it be mechanical labor, truck driver, anything.
Nobody asked for a position to be filled unless someone could do the job.
What I'm telling you is put that aside. Department heads, there's a protocol that you follow. Department heads come to us on an annual basis and bring whatever they would like to take and promote, what individual they want to promote as part of their budget. That doesn't mean the money's in the budget. That could mean that that person is going to get a $5,000 increase, a $25,000 increase. It varies depending on positions, and don't forget, we're all civil service employees here, so we have specific guidelines that we follow. This year, we probably had maybe 12, 14 promotion requests, and it's up to this body to make the decision whether or not we can afford to promote that person, whether or not we're ready to promote that person, and whether or not, going back to mechanics, do we need a fifth mechanic? That's not the department head's decision to make. We have to watch every dollar that's spent here. I can tell you right now, the chief would love to have probably 2 or 3 more sergeants, another lieutenant, but we have to hold the line on what our budgets are in our individual departments. That's how it's handled. Not just because the director of your department comes in here and says, I want this, this, and this. You're not going to get it that way. The same thing goes with equipment. You come in here every year and you're pushing for equipment just like Casey does for the department, and that's great because that's when we sit down and go item by item. But let me make it very clear. Last year we made it very clear to the Public Works Department and to all the other departments that our real specific base this year that we're going to target was our emergency services. We bought you a $1 million fire truck 2 years ago for the fire department.
It wasn't $1 million, Gary. 750 is what you bought.
750,000.
You keep throwing them big numbers out there. You're off by $250,000.
Kevin, I'll get you the numbers on everyone we've bought you over the last 15 years since I've been here. We've spent a lot of money. We try to do for every department that we can. This year, we had to target the fact that our ambulances are not safe. They're falling apart to the point where they can't even get a person that needs a serious person needs to get to an ambulance. We can't transport in an ambulance, and we're bringing in outside ambulances to do it. So we knew this year we were going to be spending a couple $100,000 to either buy or re-chassis ambulances. So that's where the bulk of our money went this year. Now, having said that, there was other things that your Public Works Director wanted. Like the mayor said, we went outside and found another way to be able to buy that $110,000 piece of equipment outside of the realm of our regular budget process. Okay, keeping in mind that the governing body's main obligation is to the taxpayer. Our job is to make sure that we minimize the taxpayer's impact every year. And taking in account, we have to handle all of the increases in our contractual obligations we're required. That's our job. We have health insurance increases every year. We have insurance increases. Put everything together, and we got to do the best we can for the taxpayer. So I know, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I know you're not happy. I know you're not satisfied, but at the end of the day, we did everything we could to try and present the best budget and the best spending plan that we could possibly present for this annual year, knowing, as I said before, that in 2019, if that power plant shuts down, there's an $11 million volume of money that comes out of that power plant to this township on an annual basis. We have to plan, not that we're going to lose it, but over a couple years' time, the legislature in Trenton could certainly say, okay, well, we're going to take this much away from Lacey Township. We have to plan for that so we don't have a major impact on the taxpayers. And that's the process we're going into. And I agree with Kevin. I think Kevin's done a great job back there, with Kevin Therian. I think you've done a great job too, but Kevin Therian has done a good job for us over the years. He's always looking out for his men. But what I don't agree with is the fact that we haven't bought equipment. Because in the years I've been here, I can go back to every single file I have on every capital purchase, and I can assure you, we buy equipment on a regular basis. We bought a couple trucks last year, we bought a couple trucks the year before. Maybe not as much as the Public Works Department would like, but at the same time, we are buying as quickly as we can. There was certain equipment on the Public Works request this year that made no sense whatsoever for us to go out and buy it, because if we need that piece of equipment for a specific job, we'll lease it. We'll go out and rent it for a week or rent it for a month. We have to find different ways to do business where we're not taking on these huge payments with the equipment that we're buying. So we're going to continue to do everything we can. We're going to, certainly if there's a truck back there that's no good, we'll get it off the road. We'll start sending out more than one guy in a truck. Put 2 guys in a cab and get them out and do the job. But if there's safety issues, that's #1 priority for this governing body, to make sure that our workers are all safe back there.
Public Works is not some little landscaping business.
No doubt about it.
That back there is a heavy construction company.
You're 100% right, Kevin. I don't disagree with you.
And with it comes big items with big price tags, which in all reality, yeah, you spent $1 million a couple years ago, but that didn't even scratch the surface of what needs to be replaced back there.
But Kevin, we have done, you heard what the...
I get it, Pete, but There's no plan in place on a regular basis to replace stuff. It's hit and miss.
I respectfully disagree with that and wholeheartedly. Each year, we visit capital requests for each department. Like Committeeman Quinn said, we do that. We have brisk discussions back there. We said that budgets aren't easy. We meant it. The last thing, I haven't met Mr. Thierry until tonight. I appreciate him coming to the meeting. The last thing, I don't ever want to hear anybody getting hurt or banged up on our equipment, all right? I don't ever want to hear that. But we can't get blood from a stone. We do have an obligation. I don't know where you live or what your property taxes are, but I know that if your property taxes went up to $15,000, your house value would plummet. I don't want to see that happen to anybody in this township. We do the best that we can do with what we can do. You have my cell phone number. A lot of people in the town do. I get calls all the time, and I'll take them. But the situation is, we make these decisions as a party of five. We don't single anybody out. We are extremely fair. We spend the money. We have contractual obligations. We have union obligations, insurance, like Committeeman Quinn has said. And we do the best that we can. Now, I want to continue to have that open door conversation with you. It'll never be closed as long as I'm here, as long as the people put me here, God willing.
And how long have you been sitting up there, Pete?
This
How
is
long
my
have you been
4th year.
And have you ever, in your 4 years, been back to the Public Works Department?
I've called Casey.
No, physically been back there, walked through our shop, walked through our yard, inspected our equipment.
I am not your liaison. I have not been back there.
But you have
But I
everybody as a
know-
committeeman to go back there at any given time and go look as a.
We have an understanding between the 5 of us. We go through the liaison for the department. Casey has my cell and I have his. I've talked to him several times over the years, okay? If he wants me to come back, if he wants any of us to come back without violating sunshine, it can only be 2 of us at one time, not 3. 3 constitutes a meeting. I'll take a day off and go back there. I have plenty of time to use. I want to go back there and be involved. I talk to different people around the town. There are employees that work there that I do talk to. So I'm in tune with it. I hear it, right? But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden money appears in the account and I can go out and make massive purchases.
No, but if you saw what was going on back there, you might think a little bit different. I invite you, I will take you back there anytime you want to go.
And I will
Pete.
take you up on it.
And
Just
during
remember,
the weekend, after work one night,
keep
we'll go back
saying,
there and
you
I'll
keep
show you all the
saying,
equipment. 4
Pete,
years and you
you
haven't
keep
been
saying
back there.
me. Mine is a vote of 1 of 5. We are a committee
Well,
form of government.
I think all 5 of you should all get a grand tour of everything that we have.
That's
back.
fine. That's fine by me.
And
But
I will.
Casey has
I will
brought us
give it to you
pictures.
on my own time.
We've read his reports. We appreciate what he does. I don't know that there's another department head that gets the praise, and frankly, Casey deserves it. You all do. I mean, we wouldn't have opening day for it, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have the parades. We wouldn't have the beautiful parks that we have. People move here for our parks. I know a lot of people in town have said that to me. That's directly because of Public Works.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best boss we've ever had, and this town will ever have.
I understand.
He makes you guys shine. We get out there, he tells us what to do, he shows us what to get done. We do the work. Without him as our leader, that doesn't get done, and we all make you guys shine.
Kevin, I understand it. There is another side to it. We have to consider all angles. Like the committeeman has said, like Tim last time, we have to consider that plan. We have to plan moving forward. If we don't, we do a disservice to you, every person sitting in this audience, and every other employee. We got to watch that moving forward. And that is no small beans either. That is a lifeline to this town. And we are trying to mitigate that loss. And we're doing a good job of it. And we don't work alone at that. There's freeholders that help. There's Congressman MacArthur that helps. There's a lot of outside help because it's too heavy to lift for the 5 of us. And we are continuing to do it. And I want to especially thank up here in public right now, Committeeman Quinn and Kennis, for the work they've been doing on the town center designation. As they've been doing some heavy lifting with that too. That's going to offset some of the plan. Nobody's sitting still up here. Nobody stops advocating for our department heads up here. Nobody doesn't care up here. I want you to understand that. We want you to succeed. That's not lip service. I mean, like I said last meeting, we all have skin in this game. And we want you to move forward. We want you to succeed. I can't grow or print money. You have my word moving forward. You have all of our words. I speak with one voice now for the five of us, that we're going to continue to visit it. We're going to continue to make decisions. But we have to consider all angles. It's like throwing a stone in a pond. You throw it in, there's 80 different ripples, not just one. All right? I appreciate your comments. I'm here to talk anytime you want.
Oh, I'm not done.
All right, cool.
I have to ask you a question.
Let me
Yes, sir.
interrupt 1 second,
Go ahead.
Kev. You make us shine, okay? I'll agree with you on that. But not only does Public Works make this governing body shine and make this town shine, but every department head and every staff member we have working in this town hall, whether it be in this building, in our finance office, in our administrator's office, our clerk's office, our building department, our police department, every employee to us makes us shine because we have an outstanding staff that steps up to the plate and puts up with a lot sometimes, to take and do whatever they have to do to get the job done. And that I want to make very clear. The parks are beautiful, there's no doubt about it, but there's a lot of other people that make this town what it is, and I just want that to be very clear moving forward. And the only other thing I want to comment on, because we're not going to get into personnel issues sitting up here tonight, even though we're not using names, it's something we just don't do. But there was a meeting set up for tomorrow morning, because that issue you're talking about, we're very happy to sit down and talk about it. And that meeting was canceled today, that Mr. Giuliano and myself were supposed to attend tomorrow. And that was done by Public Works end of it, not by the governing body. So our door's open. If you guys want to sit down and talk, we're more than happy to talk about it. But we will never talk about a staff employee in this public forum. That's just the way that's the way we do it. So
That's the law.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Did you guys give yourself a 40% raise?
Kevin,
Oh,
Yeah,
yes or is
yes.
it there? Yes or no? Did you
with
give yourselves a 40% raise?
the exact
No, I'm
40%.
40%.
I am not sure what the exact percent was, and I will say this. On par with the other 32 municipalities, ours is exceedingly low. We did agree among the five of us to give an increment in pay. To the best of my knowledge, that's the first increment in 13 years. I don't know the exact, it might be 14, it might be 12. But that was the first increment that this governing body has received in that many years.
Well,
So,
since the CFO is here, is it roughly a 40% raise?
I didn't see, I mean, I saw the ordinance, but I don't know off the top of my head. I know what
She
the
didn't create
old
the ordinance or
salary
calculate
was.
the ordinance, I did.
Right,
Oh, then I might ask you, Brian.
I didn't calculate the percentage difference.
yeah.
So it's
I was
gonna-
given the numbers and I put them in the ordinance.
And it's around 40%.
I'd have to.
Kevin,
get a
You can
calculator.
do it off the top of your head. It's around 40%.
it's easy enough to just say, the governing body pay is $10,000 a year, where it was $7,000 prior to that increase going through. And as the mayor said, it's in conjunction with a lot of other municipalities, it is one of the lowest in the county. Having said that, I've been here going on to my 15th year, and it was the same
Was
seven when
that
I,
before that, too?
it was that way when I came in. I know it was that way when John and Brian and all those guys were here for most of their terms. So, if that's, a bone of contention, I mean, that's.
So you're not in it for the money. You're in it because you care about the town, right? So
Well, I think the hours I put in, Kevin, and I think if I was in it for the money, I would have jumped ship, 15 years ago. I mean, I'm here a lot of hours. The other members are here different hours than me because of the fact that they work out of town. But no, nobody's in it for the money. If you break down the dollar amount that you come out with after, the number of hours you put in, it's not that. And I
Less than minimum
think you're angry right now, but I think over.
No, just.
No, but over the years, I think that we've gone
It's less
past
than minimum wage.
and we've done as much as we can contract-wise. I think you're very happy with the contract that just came out this year. We go to bat for you all the time, and if you want to sit here and personally criticize the mayor or anybody else, feel
I was
free.
just trying, who negotiates your contract? I mean, you sit down and negotiate our contract, and I want to get into that a little bit.
Well, it's not a contract, Kevin. I mean,
Well, you just negotiated your own raises.
Well, what you can do is when an ordinance for non-union employees comes about, prior to it taking effect, what happens is the ordinance goes onto second reading, public comment, it gets published in the newspaper. You have 20 days from the date of publication to get a petition signed by 5% of the registered voters in the municipality, like it was done, I believe, in 93 or 94. It would go on the ballot in November for the public to vote on it, whether or not those individuals listed on that ordinance would get a raise or not. And if it's voted down, we don't get a raise, like happened to us in, I think, 93 or 94 when Mr. Hutler was here.
And speaking of contracts, Steve and I have a question for you. Last year in December, I believe it was, when you and Nikki were negotiating a Teamsters contract. and the mediator was there. Was there a conference call going on while the mediator was there?
A conference call?
Yes.
Privately with us?
Was you two, Veronica, was anyone on a conference call during that negotiation? No other committee member was on the phone?
No, I don't
No.
recall that.
It was me, Nick, and Veronica.
It's
And
not
we-
what the mediator said,
I don't recall that.
but.
Honestly,
But now-
hey, Nick, wait a second, Nick, jump in if I'm wrong or I'm lying.
There's no conference
I don't recall at all.
Well, no, because,
It
you
would've
know,
been a separate one, otherwise
the
it would've been a
girls,
public meeting.
35 people or so finally got their longevity and their contract.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. It's about time. Way overdue. But yet, 6 guys in Public Works weren't good enough to get that in their contract, in our contract. There were 6 guys back there that didn't have longevity. Yet he gave it to roughly 35 people in this building. But the 6 guys at Public Works, you wouldn't give it to them. Someone was dead set against giving those 6 guys their longevity, and of which 2 of them, I think, would have been eligible to get that longevity the last 6 months of the contract. So it didn't even affect all 6 of them during this contract.
Kevin, you're talking about the contract prior to this contract that was negotiated, that you and your union, made a decision to give up longevity for new hires. We never go into a contract where we've asked you to take and give up something with what you have right now. If you came in and got it when you came in, we don't take it away. But we negotiated with you and you got other perks out of that contract that year based on the fact that you were giving up longevity for new hires. We've also done that on the police department. And we've also done it on the girls' contract, which you're referring to, which is really the CWA. Keep in mind, though, the CWA contract starts about $11,000 per new hire than somebody walking in here as a laborer. Laborer comes in here and starts their salary at $40,000 plus a benefit package, which is running us $10,000, $12,000. So it's pretty good money when you think about it, based on what that employee is making versus, come on up, Kev, versus going out into the private sector. So if you want to argue over longevity, we'll argue over it at the next contract.
I'm not arguing, I'm just saying it was good enough.
No, you
for
keep
those
bringing
30
these things back, but you give it back, and then the next contract you come back and you want it back again. Well, that's not what we agreed to. Step up to the plate, stand behind what you agreed to, and leave it alone, that's all.
My one point on the contract negotiation.
No, I was just gonna say, we're not gonna engage in contract
No, I
negotiations.
was gonna say,
We
we're
can
not
talk
gonna
about a
engage-
contract
No,
that
I'm sorry,
exists, but we're not gonna engage in
But
negotiations.
I said, you can't sit there and
Turn back time.
well, and so you can't pick on to say that we did or didn't do for 6 individuals. You bargain collectively as a group. That's how the union contract works.
I don't disagree with that. Can I say something?
You disagree with that?
I said I don't disagree with that.
So wait. So you can't sit there and say you didn't give it to 6 people. You bargain collectively as a unit. We do it broad based for the whole unit.
Has to be voted on has to be ratified by the majority.
Correct.
As far as the longevity goes, we gave up the longevity right after we got furloughed to give the town relief. That was part of our negotiation. We didn't do it in the last contract. We did
Not
it
this
out
past contract.
We did it out of good faith because we had gotten furloughed and the town was hurting, and that's when we gave up the longevity.
Yeah, like
for the new
2011 or
hires.
For
something.
it was strictly new
No,
hires.
I wanted to get that on record.
Yeah,
because we didn't-
2011 or something like
Yeah.
that, I think it was.
So,
Thank you.
And another thing, I know you say you're all 1 of 5. Okay, and I know someone up there fights a lot, or you might not, is pushing for things and may not get what they want, or you guys are butting heads. But, I miss Mr. Parker and Mr. Reed, because if they didn't agree with something, they weren't afraid to come in front of this mic, even though it may be all Republicans up there. If they didn't agree with something, or they felt strongly about something, they would stand up in front of them mics and they would voice their opinions. It's okay to do that, to stand up if you believe in something that you all might not agree on, but you'll talk about it behind there, and then they'll swallow their pride. I'd have more respect for you if you came up in front of this mic and spoke your mind, not just follow the leader and everyone else just be puppets because one guy's up there saying this is what's going to happen, and everybody else is just a puppet. He's the puppet master, and you guys just all ride along. If you don't agree with something, don't be afraid to come up in front of the mic and speak your mind, because Mr. Parker and Mr. Reed always did, and that's what I liked about him. They weren't afraid to say what was on their mind, even though they may have been all Republican committee, and if they were one person that didn't like what the other four were on, they would come up and say what was on their minds.
Okay, Kevin, trust me, people speak their mind on this committee. They speak their mind. I think you may know us well enough to know that there's no scripted speeches up here. Nobody's reading off a legal pad, an index card. There's no prepared comments. People speak their mind up here. We don't hold anything back. We talk. We can reason things out. We reason together. We come out. We present. You're right. There has not been a 4-1 or a 3-2. It has been a 5-0. But we reason it out. We come out, and we're a united front. The day will come when that may not happen. But I can tell you, I know these men around me, and I know the people in town hall. I know they're great people that work hard for us. If anybody in these four walls has an opinion, they share it.
But if you're going against, if you don't agree with it, don't be afraid to speak in front of the
There have been
mic.
times I disagreed with Committeeman Quinn or somebody else, and then we talk and we reason it out. And if he makes better points than I do, I always, you have to have an open mind here, because that's the way your mind's going to open. It's like a parachute. If it's closed, it doesn't do anybody any good. You're going to hit the ground pretty hard. So that's the way we go forward here. It doesn't mean you have to explode on a microphone on TV. We talk it out. We figure it out.
Well, no one's saying explode, but you can vote no on things if you feel you are
Everybody
dead set
knows
against it.
that. There's our flag right there. If somebody wants to vote no, they can vote no. If I want to vote no, I will vote no. Okay? And nobody gets coerced. We're all 5 strong personalities here. We're leaders. We've got I think we have deep knowledge, good experience, and we're well suited for it. But there are disagreements, and people do speak up, and people are invited, and I don't have to tell my colleagues they can speak up in the microphone. They already know that. Now, whether they want to or not is up to them. I don't and I will not coerce them. That's not right. And when I was sitting in that chair and I was committeeman and I wasn't mayor, I wasn't coerced by any of them either. Because then that would be a monarchy, and it's not. It's a committee. So, you know, I respect your passion. I disagree when you talk about pay. When we get paid, comes out to, for the hours we'll put in is minimum wage or less. We reap no benefits over here either. We are servants of the people. We take in everyone's comments and everyone's opinion. People are entitled to their opinions, but facts are stubborn things. And they're hard things to disagree with.
When I'm sitting up there, Pete, I promise all
And
you.
may the best man
I'm not
win.
going to take a salary because
May
I'm
the
going to do
best
it because I care about this town. I'm not in it for the money. I'm just going to try and make this place a
You
better
don't
place to
corner
live.
the market on
I
passion
hope I'm
for this
retired by
town.
then.
You
You
don't.
will be.
That's
5
good.
years, Ron. Remember, I can retire the same time you can.
That's good, Kevin. Good to know.
Kevin, one thing I'll tell you, I wish you the very
Gotta
best
love
if you're ever elected to this town, but
Oh, Gary, I promise you, I'm going to sit up there one day.
treat everything fairly
Gotta love it.
across the board, okay?
Oh, I will.
Not your passion for the fire department, not your passion for the public works. Have an open mind and treat every single department the same way, because that's what
That's
you're
the
responsible
tough
to do when you sit up here. And like the mayor just tried to explain to you, this isn't a yes vote for all across the board. Every single item we work on is a negotiation between 5 people. And until you have the negotiation finalized, where you have to give some, you have to give up some, then it doesn't come before this governing body in a public forum. And we work behind the scenes, one-on-one with each other, and we try and get to that point. And I've told each of these guys since they came on board, you're not going to win every battle, but don't let it bother you. Take and walk away, go on to the next item, and that's the only way to survive and stay unified and work together as a team. Because if you don't, your fire department's the same way. If your department starts fingering off into different directions, you're gonna have nothing but chaos. And our job is no different than that. We have to work as a unit, but we have to negotiate the terms of whatever we're working with amongst ourselves individually before we go out and publicly, do what we're gonna do, so.
Well,
But
Mr. McDonald, you said you were working with Casey, right? Try and make things, try and work.
That's
Yes, well, I
several-
think you need to work a little harder because I'm afraid that, I think the damage might already be done and he's getting closer and closer to walking out that door. And this whole town's gonna be in trouble when that happens. you're all gonna be sorry.
Kevin, I have had several meetings with Casey. I understand his frustrations. I've talked to him about it. We're trying to rectify it. Unfortunately, it's not gonna happen this budget period. It's just not gonna happen. Well, it's gonna happen
I
next.
hope he's here for next year's budget
Let me
then.
just say that. I hope he is too. Whether we were ever able to rectify it in the next budget, I don't know. But here's what I do know, is we are staring down that plant closing, and this town, go research it, or talk to
I heard
Mr.
Stevens-
Kennedy, he'll talk about it. It is absolutely devastating, and that's the one thing that keeps me up at night. What's gonna happen to this town when that power plant closes? Think about that. You need to think about that. What's gonna happen? Yeah, we're supposed to get $11 million of the gross receipt tax from the state, but that can be changed with a stroke of a pen, and then what do we do?
If we get a different governor,
I mean,
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't
We have
know.
to
And so-
prepare.
Well, listen, I was here when they took the money away.
Right.
And George Rod went to Trenton and fought. So you can thank George Rod for getting that money back.
And let me say something, yes, he did, but if you talk to George Rod, he knew darn well up front that they could change that at any point in time.
But he fought for that.
Absolutely he did, there's no
Really did.
question about that.
But Kevin, you're not gonna have the same fight, because if you have a plant that's
Well,
operating.
listen,
you have-
I know it's gone.
Without a
but
plant
there's
there, you got
thank you on
nothing.
there,
Right,
so
once, you know.
we're gonna be getting something.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but we can't go on that. What if nothing happens? Then we're stuck here. And we got ambulances that are falling apart. We can't get people to the hospital on time. Yeah, your public works trucks are falling apart. The whole town's falling apart. So we're looking at this, trying to say, okay.
Your roads are falling apart
Right,
too. That's happening right now.
You're absolutely
That's
right.
happening
No,
right now.
Kevin, you're absolutely right. What we're trying to do is look over the next 10 years and say, how do we fix this as quickly and as efficiently as possible? And you know what? Some of it you're gonna like, and some of it you're not gonna like. But that's just the way it's gonna be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts
You
about
might
it.
have to break that $10 million bond you won't go beyond, just to try and patch things for a short term.
No, well, if it means,
That's-
if it means signing the mortgage lifeblood of this town into debt for 30 years, yeah, that's gonna be a decision the five of us are gonna take very, very
But that's
seriously.
what it might come down to, is breaking that $10 million mark that we want. Linda, do you know the exact number what we're bonded up to right now?
Right now, we're permanent financing. We got rid of all our short-term notes that were out there, probably around that. So it's 8 million in new notes permanently, and then there's other loans outstanding that add into that. So I'm gonna say it's probably more like 16 million.
But there's,
With all the loans,
but
everything put
there's
together.
roughly 8 million in change in long-term bonds.
Yeah, we have two notes outstanding. New
That
one
doesn't
and an
count
old
this
one.
year's short-term capital yet. that we
No, I
have.
didn't borrow it yet, though.
Yeah, we
so I
haven't
can't-
borrowed this year's capital.
Can't calculate it because I didn't borrow.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Any other comments from the floor?
Seeing none, motion to close the floor.
Move it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do resolution 20.
See you, Tommy.
We got 20.
See you, bud.
You got it?
Item number 20, Resolution 2017-143, authorizing the convening of an executive session in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing convening of executive session in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act to discuss matters of personnel.
Move it.
Motion?
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yep.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
Thanks for everything. Liz.
Second.
Favor?
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There'll be no official business.
No further business.